Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I'm coming to you live from Sedona, Arizona. It is absolutely gorgeous. I can show you guys here over on Instagram. This is what I'm looking at. It is so pretty. Facebook, I'll post some pictures up so you guys can see. But today is Monday, so that means it is book club day. If you are joining me live on book club, let me know when you get here. If you're catching the replay, let me know you're catching the replay. I always watch all of the replays or the comments in the replays, so if you've got questions with this, let me know. We're talking about this book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Right now we're on chapter 15, so we've been at this for a little while, and this book, it really is to help you understand how to just live a happy life, how to live a life that is full of joy. And this is actually the chapter that I think kind of, hey Charlotte, good to see you. If you're on live, guys, let me know you're here to join us for book club today. This chapter is really about just the path to unconditional happiness. And I think it's really interesting because it's so simplistic. Most people miss it. But this is really, really a simple way for you to live your best life. And I hope that you stick through for the next, we're on here for about a half hour discussing this. Stick through. If you're not reading the book with us, it's totally okay. You can jump in whenever you get here. Hey, Karen. Hey, Tina. Hey there. Glad some of you are on here live with me. So to kick it off, right, this chapter was all about happiness. And he says, really, there is one decision that we all have in life. One decision that we have. And that decision is, do I want to be happy or do I not want to be happy? And it is that simple. Charlotte says, I really like this one. It was up my alley. Yeah. Joy is an amazing thing. I agree, Mike. I have lots of it every day too. And I think you know this secret, which is no matter what happens, you choose happiness. No matter what happens, happiness is the choice, to be okay with what's going on. He says, the key is to use life as your playground. The first line in this chapter, he says, the highest spiritual path is life itself. And I'm always, in all of my coaching with my students in mastery, I always say, guys, life is a playground. Your business is a playground. It's all for spiritual growth. It's all to help you to become the best version of you and the happiest version. So, exactly, Lou. Don't worry, be happy. We need to all sing Bob Marley right now. That's the theme song of today. So he says, once you make that choice, your path through life becomes totally clear. No matter what happens, your internal response, which is going to be happy. It's going to be okay. It's going to be acceptance with what is. And internally, you're going to be fine. But he says most people put conditions on life. They say, yeah, but what if my best friend passed away? What if my wife leaves me? What if somebody moves away? What if somebody gets sick? What if I lose my job? Like all of a sudden, there's all of these reasons that the mind comes up with to not be happy. And he says, despite all of this, it is very, very simple. Do you want to be happy or not? If you keep it that simple, you will see that it really is actually under your own control, right? It's just that most of us have very deep-seated preferences for how things should be, how life ought to be, what I want to have happen, what I don't want to have happen. Like we have all of these conditions, on life. Like I'll be happy when I get the next promotion. I'll be happy when I hit this rank. I'll be happy, when I do X, Y, and Z, or when X, Y, and Z happens in my life, or when I have the relationship, or whatever it might be, right? These are the things that we put, the conditions we put. And the issue is that those are all external things that we don't have control over. And there's an equation that I always teach. External world plus your internal response equals your reality. Those of you that are in mastery right now, we just talked about this weekend. So you have the external world, you have all of these things, right? Like, how many of you have had an intense external event happen? An accident, you've lost your health, you've lost your job, you've lost a loved one, your child's gotten sick, you lost your best friend. We all have life happening. Like external things happen. Freaking the pandemic happened. It rocked all of our worlds. But the question is, how are you internally responding to that? Because your internal response creates a different outcome. You could have an alcoholic father, and your internal response could be, well, my dad's an alcoholic. What do you think is going to happen to me? And you become an alcoholic. Another son or sibling could have the response of like, well, I'm never going to be this way because look at the life that they're creating and I'll never touch alcohol. Totally different reality, right? But it was the internal response. It requires you to take a little bit of responsibility for your life. All right. That's what it requires. And It's tough, but this is the reality check. So he says, say I want to be happy without qualifying it. What the question really means is, do you want to be happy from this point forward for the rest of your life, regardless of what happens? That's your choice. Life is going to happen, but guys, life is neutral. Life is just unfolding. Life is not for you. Life is not against you. Life is not meant to be a challenge. Life is not meant to be anything. Life is what it is, and we are having our own internal conversation and reaction with life that is either leading to ultimately stress and anxiety or joy, right? Like my friend Mike said, I experience joy every day. Me too. I have people call me and say like, are you always happy? Yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice I made a long time ago. When I had a brain injury, I said, okay, I can be miserable emotionally and be brain injured, or I can be happy emotionally and be brain injured. Which life would I prefer? And I was like, you're dang right. I want happiness. Like, I'm going to choose to get this emotional state right in here, you know? And all of you have that choice, no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter what, that's your choice. So he says, it's not a question of whether your happiness is under your control. Of course it's under your control. It's just what you don't really mean. You don't really mean it when you say you're willing to stay happy. You want to qualify it. And any condition that you create is going to limit your happiness. Well, I'll be happy if my boyfriend does this for me, or I'll be happy when my children are successful, or I'll be happy, when I have this amount of money coming in, or whatever it is, right? Those are conditions, they're limitations. You can just be happy right now, all right? You can be happy right this moment. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to choose to be happy from this moment on. From this moment forward, if you're committing to it, I'm committed to it. I committed to this during my brain injury, recovery, 12 years ago. I was talking about 11 years ago, that I went, enough is a freaking enough. Life is intense. Life can be a you know what. And I'm done with my inner world not being happy. I don't want to freaking be on this planet if I'm going to be miserable. All right. Many of you are with me, right? You're putting 1s in the chat like, hey, Fritz. Yeah, it's our choice. So let's choose it, guys. Let's choose to be happy. You can be happy even if you've lost a loved one, right? You can be happy. It's an internal choice. You have to give it an unconditional answer. He says the path to enlightenment, without study, without having to, go through all of this stuff, without having to renunciate life, he says the path to enlightenment is simply by choosing, no matter what unfolds in your life, to accept it internally and be happy, to have that outcome. Once you decide you want to be unconditionally happy, though, he says something will inevitably occur to challenge this. And this is your test to your commitment. I love this. I think about it we all, in school had to take tests, right? And you had to pass the test to pass the grade or pass the class or whatever. So life mastery, if we think about life, I used to be a teacher. For those of you who don't know, I used to teach 6th grade math. All right, so I give kids lots of tests. And what's the purpose of a test? Did you master this material? Did you master this material? If you did, you'll pass the test. And so I believe, truly, oops, I'm going to lose my page. I believe that life is giving us challenges to say, did you learn to master your inner world? Did you catch the secret? Do you understand how to master your own mind? Do you understand that happiness, love, all of these positive emotions that we enjoy feeling are yours to choose? Love is something you opened your heart to. It was something you did within you. You might think that external person, right? They created the circumstances that you opened, but you opened. And you can choose to close also. So you get to choose to be happy. It's way better feeling when you choose to be happy. And so think about it as test day. So when the challenge comes, because it's coming, and all of you that just put a 1 in the chat that are like, yes, I'm going to be happy the rest of my life. It might be today something occurs. Your car might break down. You might get a phone call that someone's leaving your business. You might get fired. You might find out that, someone you love is sick. Something's going to happen. That is test day. That's the test. That's life going, okay, here you go. You're going to be happy even with this? Can you figure out how to be happy internally even if this are the conditions that are surrounding you? Can you do it? That's your test. And you'll pass the test if you keep your heart open, if you choose to be happy. And you will fail the test if you get angry, if you say it's not fair, it shouldn't be this way, blah, blah, blah. You drop into victim mentality, right? Life is doing this to me. No, it's not. Life is neutral. Life is unfolding. Life is happening. You're interacting with it internally, okay? So, test day is coming, my friends. I want you all to pass. All right. I want you to pass. So everything he says is going well, and then it's easy to be happy. But the moment something difficult happens, it's so easy to drop. The moment you have the issue with your car, the moment somebody says something about your clothes, the moment you get a bad haircut, the moment whatever thing that throws you off center happens, that's your test. That is your test. So he says the purpose of your life is to enjoy and learn from your experiences. You were not put on this earth to suffer. I probably read that 10 times. And he says, and you're not helping anybody if you are miserable. I'm on page 143 for those of you that have the book, right? You were not put on this earth to suffer. You weren't. You know what's suffering? Your freaking mind. Why? Because you haven't learned how to master it. You haven't realized that you're more than your thoughts. You haven't understood the fact that you don't have to pay attention to the emotion. You don't have to pay attention to the thought. I'm not saying repress it. I'm saying it can be there. You know, the child can throw the tantrum next to you. You don't have to engage with it. Let the thing burn. Let that energy get out, right? But you can be at peace. You can be the sky behind this whole crazy life that's just like, wow, a rainbow's here today. Oh, now there's snow. Oh, now there's a hurricane. Now it's sunny, right? Be okay with it all. Be happy with it all. That's what he's saying. He says, the fact remains that you were born and you were going to die. And during the time in between, you can choose whether or not you want to enjoy the experience. Like, he's so blunt. You know, he's so blunt. He's like, okay, you were born, you're gonna die. The time in between, right? The dash on your gravestone. You get to choose your life experience. Life is going to happen. I'm not saying you're choosing all the things that are occurring externally, but you're choosing the experience. You're choosing the internal response you're gonna have to it all. You pick. You pick. It's that simple. He says, right? Events don't determine whether or not you're going to be happy. They are just events. You determine whether or not you're going to be happy. You can just be happy to freaking be alive. You can just be happy to have your life, to be able to be here, to be able to be around for me right now, like this beautiful scenery. Like, just freaking be happy. You pick. All right? You get to decide. This path, he says, leads you to absolute transcendence. You have to let go of the part of you that wants to create melodrama. We're all addicted to it, right? The gossiping, oh, it should be this way, it ought to be this way, it's not fair, blah, 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 the struggle, right? We get freaking addicted to it. And this part of you that thinks that there's a reason not to be happy, he says you got to transcend it. You have to transcend this personal thing. And you have to just, when you do that, you will naturally awaken to this higher aspect of you. You will get connected in with something that just feels magical. All right? And he says, it's the only rational choice. Enjoying life's experiences is the only rational thing to do because you don't have control over it anyway, right? The time in between when you are born and when you die, 90+% of the stuff that happens, you have no control over. You have no control over the fact that there's wars going on right now. No control over it, right? You don't. Life is happening. It's like, the what is that white ball called in pool? Is it called the cue ball? I can't remember. Anyway, that white ball, it hits all the billiard balls, right? And they bounce all over the place. Like, it is really hard to see. There's so many different things. There's billions of people on this planet bumping into each other at all the time, creating all of these crazy effects. You can't control that. All right? So how is it rational to think that you can? Like, you can't. But you can control your internal response to what shows up. That you can. And he says it's the only rational thing to do. Okay? It's the only rational thing to do. All right? When I had my TBI, my traumatic brain injury, I got hit by a drunk driver. I couldn't control that. A drunk driver hit me. Okay, that was reality. I sustained a brain injury. Boom, reality. I couldn't change it. I tried to will myself past it. I tried to wish myself better. Like, reality was as it was. It was a freaking wall. And I was miserable and depressed and anxious and having panic attacks. And finally, I said, this is stupid, Danielle. Like, the way I looked at it, guys, is I said, okay, there are new rules on this game of life. Now I can't handle noise. Now I can't handle light. Now I can't do these things I used to be able to do. So I said, fine, if the goal of life is to be happy, how can I be happy? And I challenged myself. I was like, all right, I'm going to find happiness even within these ridiculous circumstances of having, a migraine every day and all of the issues I used to have. I said, I am going to find a way to be happy despite the fact that I have a traumatic brain injury, despite the fact that I can't work, despite the fact that all of these things are as they are, right? I couldn't change that. But I could choose to be happy. It was the only rational thing to do. Otherwise, I was going to be miserable and physically sick. Like, who the hell wants to be that way? You got a choice, people. You got a choice. Let's choose it. Let's be smart. He says, take a look at reality. I love this, okay? You're floating in empty space in a universe that goes on forever. If you have to be here, at least be happy and enjoy the experience of life. You're gonna die anyway. Things are gonna happen anyway. Why shouldn't you be happy? What a freaking reality check, right? What were you complaining about this weekend? All right. So, being bothered by life's events, it doesn't change the world. You just suffer. There's always going to be something that can bother you if you let it. Resist or accept, right? Resist what's showing up or accept what's showing up. The only one of them gives you access to peace, right? Christy, yes. I mean, high five me if you're with me. Like, I see an amen over here, right? Like, just like, this is it. This is it. This chapter, I love that Charlotte said this was the chapter, because it is. It's like, this is the culmination. It's so freaking simple, and he just makes you feel stupid if you're like, oh yeah, why would I choose to be upset? Like, I'm getting to experience just existence here on this planet. Like, come on now. He says it's a choice, and he says the choice to be happy. This was what's so amazing. He says, that choice in and of itself will become a spiritual teacher. Okay? It will become a spiritual teacher. You will learn all about your mind. You will learn all about your heart. You will learn all about your own willpower. It took a lot of willpower for me to choose on a daily basis when I felt like hell and I couldn't work and life was falling apart all around me to choose to be happy. To choose to go, wow, I can go on a walk. Wow, I can hang out with my grandparents and sit in a dark room. Wow, I can cook something that tastes really good. Like, I had to choose the little moments of it, and it forced me into the present moment. And he says, in that time and space, if in every moment of every day, you're going to be in a space of going, I'm going to be happy about this. I'll be happy about this. You're going to learn about your own mind. You're going to learn about the resistance that pops up, the justifications for being unhappy. Like, all of this will come. All right? And he says, you might as well have fun. What good does it do to not have fun? It's not going to change anything. Make that your game and just stay happy no matter what. Guys, make life a game. I tell all my students, life is a freaking playground. Your business is a playground, right? All for your spiritual growth. All for you to be able to go, you know what? I can keep my heart open to that. I can stay happy about this. Doesn't mean you condone everything that's going on, right? Like, there's nuance here. It's not meaning you're condoning things, but it's like, you don't have to create stress inside of your own body, but you can still act, right? If you don't like the way that something is unfolding, you don't have to say, well, this is not fair, blah, blah, blah. You can go, okay, well, this is what's happening. Can I act in any way to change the outcome to something that I think would be better for other people, right? And myself, right? You like the game plan. Yeah, Charlotte, it is. It's a game. New rules on the game. I like the virtual high fives over here. Yeah. So what does it feel like? Like, what does it feel like to be happy? And he describes it as your heart feels open and energy rushes up inside of you. And so I am curious, put it in the chat here because there's lots of us. What opens your heart? Like, when do you get that happy feeling? What occurs that brings that to you? He says, your heart feels open and energy rushes up inside of you. I felt it yesterday when I was out mountain biking. Okay, I was on this one part of the trail and it was like rolling hills and curves and it was so fun. And all of a sudden I just had this smile on my face. It was like, this is the best. Like, it's simply the best. So, a little bit of adrenaline, right? It was totally a ton of fun. So for me, mountain biking is something. Rhonda says feeling warmth and peace come inside of her. She feels that. What brings that? Does your child bring that to you? Like, what in your life brings the feeling of happiness? Where your heart just opens. Driving home with the sunroof open. There you go. Yep, I love it. Probably music on too, right? So what else for you guys is bringing that level of happiness into your life? For me, it's also my dog. Like, I just look at my dog. Okay, you too, Stacey. Yeah, I just look at my dog and my freaking heart just like wants to jump out of its chest. Like, it's just like he brings it because he like embodies joy, you know? Jumping in the lake. Yeah, for me, jumping into the springs every day. I haven't been able to since I've been out here, but being out in nature, like, it's just pure joy. You just go, oh, wow. Okay, walking your dogs. Yeah, seeing beauty, skiing with my family. Okay, so then he says, you need to understand when it closes. So what does it feel like? Your heart feels closed when you're not happy and no energy comes up inside of you. So what closes your heart? This is important to know too. What closes your heart? For me, I feel my heart close when someone yells at me. Like, it's like, ooh. Like, it is like an immediate restriction in my chest, and I literally say, oh my God, it's hurting my heart. When someone raises their voice, it's like immediately I become unhappy. And it's so funny because I have the opportunity, right? That's like an opportunity for me to go, can I keep my heart open even with this? Can I keep my heart open even with someone being angry at me, right? And it's interesting because most of the time, like, your ego wants to engage or you want to defend yourself and you're like, bah! And you come back, right? But can you just keep an open heart? Excuse yourself from the situation, right? Because it's never okay for someone to be screaming at you. But can you keep your heart open? Can you not allow yourself to become unhappy? Yeah, objections make your heart close. A lack of communication and expectations or assuming other things people should do. Yep. You find yourself closing when people don't do what you think they're going to do. This is important because, guys, this is where life becomes the playground. When you realize the situations that typically cause you to close your heart, maybe I'm seeing it's funny because I'm not seeing a lot in the chat, which might mean that you're very good at avoiding these situations, okay? And I would tell you, don't avoid. You're limiting yourself. Those boundaries that people put up drives me crazy because I'm like, it's a limitation. It's a limitation. Boundaries are nuanced, okay? Because if it's like, you know, it's nuanced. What I would say is you could potentially be limiting yourself if you're avoiding certain things. Why can't you just allow it to be and have an open heart to it? Choose to be happy, people. Choose to be happy. He says, if you do close, ask, what is it inside of you that believes there's some benefit to closing? So when you feel your heart close the next time, just stop and go, is this beneficial? Like, what benefit is going to come from me choosing to be unhappy right now? From me, internally, it's an internal choice, choosing to close my heart. What benefit will come from that? Probably nothing, right? You might think, oh, well, if I'm sad, someone will come and like take care of me. Guys, you don't need anybody. You're whole and complete as you are. When your heart's open, you're connected to it all, right? He says, like this example. So all of us have been cut off by somebody in traffic and probably gotten angry, right? We felt that little like, come up, like, how dare you? And what the hell? And blah, 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 right? He says, so you're having a great day. And then someone cuts you off on your way to work. It gets you really upset. And so you stay that way the rest of your day. Why? He says, dare to ask yourself the question of why are you staying upset? What good came from letting it ruin your day? There was absolutely no benefit. If somebody cuts you off, let it go. Stay open. And if you really want to, you really can. Okay? What is in you right now that's causing you to close? What person, circumstance, situation are you resisting right now? Open your heart to it. It's your choice to open your heart, right? It does no good you being miserable and angry at somebody and, you know, justifying it all in your head, and there it is, right? Spiritual practices are not an end in themselves, he says. They bear fruit they bear fruit when you become deep enough to remain open. If you learn to stay open at all times, great things will happen to you. You simply have to learn not to close. I've read this a few times and I was like, what does he mean, right? What does he mean that it's going to bear fruit? Because I thought that it was like the end of it itself. Well, I'm happy. Like, isn't that the point of it all? And he says, no. It gets bigger, all right? But if you feel yourself closing, he gives some different ideas. But the summary point, I want to read this because we got a few minutes left. I'm on page 145. I circled this. I was like, holy moly, that is it. Things are going to happen to you and you're going to feel the tendency to close. But you have a choice to either go with it or let it go, meaning go with the closing or let the closing go. Your mind will tell you that it's not reasonable to stay open when these things happen. The mind will jump in. It will justify, it will say this and that. It's gonna happen. But you have limited time left in your life, and what's really not reasonable is not to enjoy life. I just loved that. I don't care how freaking justified you are. Someone stole $25,000 from you. You can close, you can be angry, or you can just say, you know what? I'm gonna be happy. I could die tomorrow. Why do I want to spend today being upset? Let it go, right? We got so many songs we could sing. Let it go. What is that, from Frozen, right? All right. He says, meditation will strengthen your center of consciousness so that you're always aware enough to not allow your heart to close. Instead of complaining, you're just having fun with the different situations that unfold. I love it. So this is why part of Inner Management Mastery, for those of you that have been in it, hopefully you're continuing to do it, I have you do a yoga nidra, a guided meditation every single day. Why? Because it brings you into the space of the mind being quiet, you finding your center and realizing how blissful it is, how peaceful it is. Right? I have one student right now, she said, every time I get up from my yoga nidra, I just spontaneously say like, oh my God, that was amazing. Oh my God, that was amazing. Because it is. Meditation helps you find your center, keep your center. So if you're having a hard time with this principle, meditate. If you don't do yoga nidra, talk to me. Let's get you one, right? You should be doing this. Yoga nidra is like meditation made easy, guys. All right. So he says, this is the highway for our spiritual growth. I love this. He says, a person who actually does this every moment of every day is going to notice the cleansing of their heart. Why? Because things are going to come up and you're going to open. This is where you transmute. This is the alchemy in the heart that I taught many of you guys about, Fritz and Rhonda, and this is the alchemy I taught you about that happens at the heart. When you keep your heart open, you will release so much. You will cleanse it, as he says. This is because they're not getting involved in the stuff that comes up. They're also going to notice the purification of their mind because they are not going to get involved in the mind's melodrama. The mind will eventually quiet down when it realizes you're not giving it any energy and you're not engaging with it. He says their Shakti, their spirit, their energy within, the divine within you, is going to awaken even if they don't know what Shakti is or not. They will come to know a happiness that is beyond human understanding. This path solves daily life and it solves spiritual life. If you remain open, he says, spontaneously happy, you will find God. I'm having to read this because it was just so profound. He says, once you have passed through the trial by fire, right, which is the test day's coming. Once you have passed the trial by fire and you are thoroughly convinced that you will let go no matter what happens, no conditions on your happiness, then the veils of the human mind and heart will fall away and you will stand face to face with what is beyond you, because there is no longer a need for you. You'll go beyond the individual to the collective. You'll hit the divine consciousness, the quantum field. When you are done playing with the temporal and the finite, when you're done banging your head against the reality in this 3D world, he says you will open to the eternal and infinite. And the word happiness won't even be able to describe the state you're in. That's where words like ecstasy, bliss, liberation, nirvana, and freedom come in. The joy becomes overwhelming and your cup runneth over, he says. This is a beautiful path and you get there by being happy. You know, and he shared, I didn't read it, but he shared this, just that's so beautiful. Like you could just read that again and again and again and sink into it and go, holy cow, why would I ever choose anything else? Right? Why would I ever choose anything else? And he says, like, you know, imagine, I love how like he does these things where like he just asks questions that I don't know, I've never considered asking. He says, like, imagine God came down to check on us. And he checks on one person and he's like, how are you? And they're like, I freaking hate it here. Everything's miserable. People are mean to me. Nothing ever works out for me. And God's like, well, what about the animals? And he's like, oh my God, bees sting me and ants bite me and it's horrible. This is hell. Right? And so then God goes to somebody else and says like, how are you enjoying things? And they're like, oh my gosh, the range of emotion here is like wild, and you can feel up and down, and it's all so beautiful. And the animals, it's so amazing. This little tiny ant has the bravery to bite me. And I just loved that example where you could take one thing as like, oh my God, like it's miserable, how terrible, I got bit by an ant. Or you could have this totally different perspective and viewpoint and go like, how wild is it that something this big has the audacity, the bravery to bite something that's so much bigger, to go up against it, to believe that it can do something to defend itself. And it does. Like, it's amazing. I liked that story too, Charlotte. Just what a wonderful chapter. I mean, this is one to come back to. Come back, guys, to this. If you got value from this, share it on your page. Tag a friend in this. Like, this is the essence of it all. I mean, Mickey laid it out so beautifully, and hopefully this discussion today helped lay it out so beautifully for you. We'll be back next week. We've got chapter 16, which is the spiritual path of non-resistance, which I think we touched on that a little bit of that today, I think. So that'll be fun. And I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful day, a beautiful day, and enjoy your week. Keep your heart open. Choose happiness no matter what. The test is coming. So be ready.